This is The Missing, a show where you can make a difference.
1-2 clear. Control 3-2 boy, can you put me out on the scene of the accident?
Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Missing. I'm your host, Scott Davis, and I want to say thank you so much for joining us. As you're aware, we have not been on the air in quite a few months due to the fact that we've been getting in our new studio. Now that we're in our new studio, we are ready to get back to work, helping locate missing children and helping the families who are looking for them. In this week's episode, we're going to be covering the case of 3 missing children, 2 of which are brother and sister missing out of the state of Florida, and 1 is a little girl who's 4 months old missing out of the state of Michigan. So let's don't waste any more time. Let's get right into this episode of The Missing. In the opening of this episode, I said we're going to be covering the case of a missing sister and brother out of the state of Florida. If you will, please look at their photographs. Journey, a 9-year-old girl, and Trust, a 4-year-old little boy, both missing out of the state of Florida. So let's don't waste any more time. Let's get right in this case of Journey and Trust. Pictured is Jim Everitt and his 2 children, daughter Journey and son Trust. Both children have been missing since December of 2010. The story of Journey and Trust, 2 beautiful children that have found themselves in a world of confusion and difficulty. Journey, a vibrant 9-year-old little girl, and her little brother Trust, just 4 years of age, taken away from their father just days before the Christmas holidays in 2010. It was determined they were allegedly taken by their non-custodial mother, Crystal Everitt, over visitation issues between her husband and the children's father, James Everitt. The Everitts were going through a difficult divorce when findings were discovered that persuaded the courts of the state of Florida to award custody in January of 2011 to their father, James Everitt. On March 25th of 2011, a felony warrant for custodial interference was issued for Crystal. If you will, please take a look at these pictures of Journey and Trust. As mentioned, these 2 beautiful children have been included in a very difficult situation that puts them in a life of make-believe, living each day in untruth. Also pictured here is their mother and alleged abductor, Crystal Everitt. While talking with the lead detective on this case out of Melbourne, Florida, it has been learned that Crystal does have a close family friend as well as family in the state of Oregon. Along with family in Oregon, Crystal also has family in the state of Georgia, and she prefers to live in southeastern states. And it is possibly that she may be in North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, or Northwest Florida. Crystal Everitt has been known to have blonde highlights in her hair, as well as a scar on her abdomen. Please take an opportunity and review these photographs of Journey, Trust, and Crystal. If you've seen them, please contact 1-800-843-5678 nationally, or contact the Melbourne Police Department at 1-321-409-2200. Thank you for taking the opportunity and reviewing the information in Journey and Trust case. And if you've seen Journey or Trust or their mother Crystal, please contact the numbers that I've listed for you or contact your local law enforcement. Now I know we all care about Journey and Trust and hope that we could find them and bring them home safely. But just recently, I ran into a group of other people who are interested in Journey and Trust case, as well as cases of other missing children. There were the folks with the Fireball Run. Recently, they were here in Crossville, Tennessee, and I had the opportunity to interview some of their drivers. So let's get right into those interviews and let you see how much they really care about these missing children. The first Fireball Run rally driver I had the opportunity to interview was that of Jeff Bodine. A NASCAR legend in his own right, he was carrying the photograph of Trust Everitt. Now I asked Jeff during our conversation what his reasons were for competing in the Fireball Run rally. Also I asked, has he had a chance to meet with the family of Trust Everitt? And during our conversation, he also reminded me that he is still active in the NASCAR racing series, and he's going to let you know when his next NASCAR racing event's going to be. So let's don't waste any more time. Let's get right in this conversation with Jeff Bodine.
Our real adventure is trying to locate missing children. I live in Melbourne, Florida. I'm representing Trust and Journey Everitt. They're 2 kids that were taken about a year ago. So we're out there looking for them. Hopefully somebody will see a picture of them. More kids are found through pictures, so we're passing out flyers like this all over the southeast, and hopefully someone will see a picture of one of the children in our group and tell somebody, and we'll find them. I met their parent, their father, Jim. He lives in Melbourne. He's in the Air Force, a great person, but he misses his kids. And actually, right here in this area, their aunt lives here, and so we've met her. She's right standing behind you now. So a lot of effort is going in to try to find these two kids, and hopefully this helps. We know your show helps, so thank you very much for that. People, just be aware. If you see some new people moving in town with kids, you don't know who they are, kind of check into them. Just be aware, and it could be a missing child. Yeah, thank you. And hey, I'm still racing now. Cheer for I'm going to be in Charlotte here in a few weeks, so cheer for number 35.
Along with talking with Jeff Bodine, I had an opportunity to speak with Winston Scott, an astronaut who has flown 2 space shuttle missions. He was carrying the photograph of Journey Everitt on his vehicle, and I asked him what he felt the importance of the Fireball Run was. In addition to that, I asked him how he felt that when a photograph of a missing child translates into the family that's actually missing them. While discussing these very important topics, we also discussed the other children that were being carried through the Fireball Run effort in hopes to find them and bring them home safely. So let's don't waste any more time. Let's go right into this conversation with Winston Scott.
In fact, the other reason, quite frankly, is more important than the points in winning the contest. Another reason is to spread the word about missing children. Each car in the Fireball Rally is sponsoring a missing child, and our little child is little Journey Everitt. You can probably see her picture right here. Journey and her brother Trust have a local connection. In fact, I just met their little cousin here. They've been missing for quite some time, so we're spreading the word about Journey and Trust Everitt and all other missing children. We hope that somebody across the country will recognize them or have some information that can be used to bring these little children back home. So even though we're out doing drag racing and looking for points for solving clues and all, the real winner will be if we find some of these children and bring them home. Well, I tell you what, it really drives it home, because even though you know how important this is, when you look at a poster or a picture, that's one thing, but when you actually meet a relative or a friend of the person that's missing, it really puts a sense of reality to it. Now, I did meet the father, Jim Everitt, back in Melbourne, Florida, before we left home. In fact, Jim and I, well, all of us had several conversations, so we know how concerned Jim is about his children, and it just really drives it home that these are real children, and they're in a real crisis situation. We need to do what we can to bring them home. Hundreds of thousands of children go missing every year, and that's a really sad thing. And you know, all of us are adults, and it's our responsibility to do what we can to protect these children, take care of them. For those who are missing, we need to help find them and bring them back home. So yeah, there are many that go missing, and we're only a crew of 40 cars here, so we can only spread the word about 40 children. But I'd like to call on everybody across the country to really get active and do whatever they can to help the cause of missing children.
It was great speaking with Jeff and Winston, but I had an opportunity to speak with one of the other competitors of the Fireball Run Rally, and that was with actor Kevin Major Howard. You might remember Kevin from the movie Full Metal Jacket. He was piloting the Fueled by the Fallen car, which is a program to help gain exposure for fallen heroes. He and I discussed his program, Fueled by the Fallen, as well as the fact that he also was carrying the photograph of a missing child. I was really impressed not only with his passion for his program, but for the passion for America's missing children. He also talks about meeting Emma, the cousin of Journey and Trust, and his feelings for her as she goes through missing them. Also, during our conversation, he even shared his feelings about our program. So let's don't waste any more time. Let's get right into this conversation with Kevin Major Howard.
We're on the Fireball Adventure Rally, and we are traveling through 8 states, 15 cities, and each one of us has been assigned a missing child, and we are on the hunt. We are passionate about this cause. We want to awaken America about this cause, and as neighbors, we should just get to know each other. It's a great way to keep tabs on each other's children as well. But you know, 800,000 children missing every year in this country, 2,000 a day. That's a heartbreaker, everyone. We all need to get back in the game. Let's not sit on the sidelines anymore. This is our country. It's our great America, and let's prove that. To Emma especially, she's 7 years old. May the future be bright. May her missing cousin come home with wings of delight and put our arms around each other so that they can grow up together and have a relationship as we all have been accustomed to having. It's called life itself. You are a gift to the missing children in this country. You keep doing the great work you keep doing. We're all behind you. Thanks for leading to this parade, and thanks for having the privilege to speak to you about this today.
Thank you, Jeff, Winston, and Kevin, for taking the opportunity and spending time with me to discuss your efforts in the Fireball Run. Now let's don't waste any more time. We have another case to cover, and that is of Katherine Phillips. So let's get right into her case and see if we can help locate her and bring her home safely. Now we'll cover the case of Katherine Phillips, a 4-month-old little girl missing out of the state of Michigan. I had the opportunity to speak with the lead detective on her case, and he says they are following up on every single lead and every tip that they get, as well as turning to the media, such as The Missing, to help get her story out there. It was alleged that she was last seen on June 29th of this year, when she was allegedly taken by her biological father, Sean Phillips. If you will, please take this opportunity and take a good look at Katherine's pictures. And maybe you have seen her in the timeline being offered by police with her father or thereafter with someone else in the immediate area. She is a beautiful little girl who desperately needs to be recovered and returned home safely to her mother. As in every case we present to you, our viewers, we ask for your assistance. And if you do not have any information on her case, we ask that you share with your social networks and tell your friends of her case. Unfortunately, when we feature a missing infant, it is hard to offer more than brief description due to the fact that the infant's physical appearances change, and it seems daily. And in fact, that a person who may have the missing infant can change their appearance as well as by changing them in gender-specific clothing. Changing a little girl into a little boy just by dressing them that way, or vice versa. This is why we try to offer the most up-to-date pictures available that we can when the child was reported missing. If you have any information, please contact 1-800-843-5678 nationally, or contact the Ludington Police Department at 1-231-869-5858. Please remember, by looking at the photographs of Katherine, you could possibly help find her and bring her home safely. So please take this opportunity and review her information in this case, and hopefully you can help us bring her home safely. Well, everyone, that brings a close to another episode of The Missing. I really appreciate you taking the opportunity and reviewing the information that we presented to you in this case. I also like to take this opportunity to say thank you to the folks at the Fireball Run. Thank you for your efforts in trying to help gain exposure for missing children throughout the United States. Also, I'd like to say thank you to Jeff, Winston, and Kevin for sharing their feelings on the importance of helping missing children here in the United States and from around the world. As I always say, keep your children educated, keep them protected, and continue to watch The Missing. I'm your host, Scott Davis. God bless.